Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew, and welcome to 476. I'm here with Vivienne Golde, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, the honor is all mine. And for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. They should never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's to prove to them you can break the labels. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, it's going to be a half hour every time. And starting off, I'm going to ask you some easy questions, some hard-hitting questions. And then we're going to take a break, then pass it over to you. You can ask me anything you want, say anything you want, and start it off. What can you tell us about yourself?
Just in general?
Yep, this
Just
is your
anything.
time.
Sure, yeah, well, I'm 25. I moved to New York City from New Jersey 3.5 years ago after graduating from college. I was a theater arts and English major in New Jersey. The school's called Drew University. It's a really small liberal arts school. Um, yeah, and so I've been in the city ever since, even though honestly, I really love what New York City has to offer and all of the opportunities. But sometimes I do miss the suburbs because I also really like nature and all of those types of things.
No, absolutely. For me, I'm a suburbs person. I can speak. I'm a suburbs person. I was born and raised in the suburbs. And it's pretty much just saying, when I go to the city, it's kind of like, well, culture shock because it's kind of like, it's a big difference. It's kind of like, from where I am near in Central Valley near West Point, it's kind of different. And when you go to the city, it's fast paced. People are always moving. Things are always moving. And yet, when you go away from the city, you see more and more nature. So it's kind of really interesting how it goes from, okay, here's the birds and the trees, to, oh my God, look at all these people. Then you say, oh my God, look at all these people, to, ah, I guess this is what it was, you being in the suburbs. So you get into a different mindset. No, I love being in the city. I find it very exciting now to be there a couple times on my own, get myself, get my feet wet. But I guess you can say I'm too comfortable in the suburbs. So I'm a little culture shock. What about yourself?
Yeah, like I said, I like the opportunities here in the city and all of that, but I feel, I guess, more calm in the suburbs. It's just a more peaceful environment, but so I guess there are pros and cons to each of them.
No, that's true. You have the goods with the bads. For an example, for the city, then we can go to another subject. City, it's 24/7, so you need buses, trains, taxis, snap your finger, it's right there. Up here, there's a certain hour where the good taxis disappear, they close for the night. Then you have the kind of like the seedy ones where you're like, hey, I guess I can try it, I can use it if I'm desperate enough, but they like to overcharge people, and it's kind of like you really never worked with them before, so you kind of like don't know what you're walking into. It's just like one of those things. I'll give you an example
Right.
real fast. One of the taxis, I personally never happened to me. One, usually I work with this taxi company, right? Okay, $10 there, $10 back. I get like 2 days out of it, if I'm lucky. Because usually I have someone dropping me off. I don't drive. But yes, there was a time where like, okay, here's a taxi. How much do I owe you? 20. And he's like, oh, $20. Like $20. Well, there goes 2 days of worth of right there. You see,
Yeah, definitely.
because you get people that think, oh, it's late at night, I can charge whatever I want, and people would actually pay for that because how else are you going to get home besides walking in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, it can be stressful.
It's true. Now, the next question I was going to ask you is who influenced you to become an actress, and how many years have you been an actress?
So, actually, when I was little, like very little, like a toddler, and I didn't really have a choice or a say in this, but I was through my mom, like she put me through this, and she like it was a positive experience from what I gather. But I was actually a model for if you've ever heard of this brand of teething gel for babies called Baby Oragel. So it's like uh, babies put that. Well, the parents put it on the baby's teeth when they're teething to ease the pain. So I don't know if that's still around. It probably is. But yeah. So I modeled for that. I was actually the crying baby. I was the one that they depicted in the ad as using the opposition brand of the teething paste, whatever that didn't work as well, I guess. So yeah, and that was through my mom put me through that. So I guess that's not really acting; that's more modeling, but it's still like a show business kind of thing. And then I did actually take dance, various dance like tap, jazz, ballet when I was younger too. Also, because my mom encouraged me to do that. And I did do drama classes, like at like a youth group, things like that when I was little. But I actually didn't really like it back then. I wasn't that into it, I think, because I had like a really bad teacher who was like just not really nice and was not positive really. So I have no idea what the teacher's name was. It was not at school. It was like just at a separate drama thing. And so I kind of also later on, when I got into like the preteen stage and like early teenage years, it was that kind of like awkward phase where like I got stage fright, and I really like really bad. Like I really didn't want to do that at that point because it was just like really awkward. And then actually, when I was in high school, um, towards the end of my what was it called, freshman year, when we had to register for classes for our sophomore year and stuff, I decided to take drama, the drama class as like an elective course, just for fun. And so when I did that, I ended up enjoying that. But really, I think the interesting thing is that what made me really want to like actually pursue acting was my teacher for my AP English literature class when I was in 12th grade. So I know it's kind of it's not really a drama class, but it's we read like a lot of plays. We read like Shakespeare and a lot of other great things that it was like the analytical perspective and part of that, which is definitely helpful for acting. And I kind of became more into theater as well and all of that. And she was like a really inspirational teacher. And then when I went to college, I started out as an English major, but then at like my second or around my second year, like halfway through, I actually decided that I was actually able to double major. So I started out being a theater minor, but then became a theater major as well. So I double majored, and yeah, and then I did a 1 year program after I graduated, like one of those professional training programs for like a year at a studio in the city, non-academic. that was after I graduated, and it was fun. Yeah, and I've been doing stuff ever since.
No, it sounds like a very interesting story. And you're an inspiration for people out there. Say, hey, this is what I want to do. And for me too, I'm an inspiration. You don't let labels dictate who you are and who you want to be. It's to prove to them you can break the labels.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you is, how do you feel about social media? Do you think social media can make you or break you? And how does that influence your career?
So for me, I'm personally not really big on social media. I pretty much just have Facebook. I got an Instagram recently, actually, but it was almost kind of because I felt like I had to get the Instagram. It wasn't because like I was excited about it and I wanted to. And I have like one post on there, which is not even a picture of me or anything. It's like one of those uh, pictures of like a landscape or something with like an inspirational quote on it that you just get off, you just find off the internet or whatever. So it hasn't really gone far, but and on Facebook, like I used to kind of post just random stuff when I was like in college or whatever, but I really don't post much on there, like because I don't know, I use it mostly to follow what other people are doing and keep in touch with people. And also, actually, Facebook has been really good in terms of me hearing about opportunities, including like job opportunities and stuff, and as well as acting opportunities, through various Facebook groups and stuff. So that has been really good. And that's also why I definitely like Facebook better than, for example, Instagram or whatever others, because you don't really have those kind of things with other social media apps or whatever. But I don't know. I think social media has the possibility to connect more people, but in a superficial way. And I think that a lot of people have lost like real connection
Right.
and connecting face to face with people. And so, again, there are pros to it and some cons, but in terms of myself personally, I'm not like a huge like presence on social media, at least not yet, because I find that for myself personally, that's very stressful to try to keep a certain image and like post all this stuff like all the time and be like, hey, like follow me and all of this. And it's just, I don't know. I mean, some people do that, but it's not like I'm not that into it.
No, I understand, and I'm guilty of that. I try to be able to follow in, and I say, "Hey, can you follow me? I appreciate the support," and I do. I do appreciate all the support I get. But it's one of the benefits for social media is to get yourself out there and say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is who I am. This is my story, and I like to have your support." Yet at the same time with social media, you have all these people pretending to be celebrities, or they have porn sites, or these have these like the black web, for all that other garbage. So if you get rid of the older garbage, it's actually going to be a good place to network. But yeah, you like you said, being in the suburbs and the city, or the city of the suburbs, and now we're talking about the internet, you're always going to get that 50-50 of, the pros and the cons.
Yeah, probably with most things, I guess.
It's true. Now, the last thing I do want to talk about social media is, do you think that it has influenced you getting work, or do you think it influenced you getting your image out there?
What was the first one that it
Oh,
influenced me
work.
getting work?
Yes.
Well, yeah, like I said, actually, I found out a lot of opportunities that actually did end up happening for me through Facebook, like Facebook groups. So definitely, I think that that's a very positive thing. And of course, I'm not the only one who has that kind of experience. It helps like a lot of people in that way. And it's like, sometimes, I even find out about things just through there, even before or instead of like various casting sites or job websites, you know. So, yeah, but in terms of putting my image out there, I mean, I don't really know. Like, I have my own website, my own actor website. So I link to that in my Facebook and my Instagram, but I don't know how much the actual, you know, Facebook or Instagram or things like that have helped me in terms of getting my image out there or whatever. Because I don't know, I feel like I'm a very private person. I don't really like post pictures of myself. Even when I like go out with friends or things like that, I don't like, take a bunch of pictures and post them. I don't always feel comfortable when other people post pictures of me from like social events or whatever. Because I just don't think that everything has to be put out there. Things can stay private and personal.
Yeah, I agree. I give you like an example. Don't mind me, it's just warm in here. I give you an example. Like, say you're at a Comic Con convention, or you're at an event, and or you're if you're out with a good group of friends, you're like, hey, let's take a picture. This picture looks great. Or if you're wearing a great outfit, you say, hey, when are we gonna get this opportunity again? Let's capture the moment and take the picture. And I do agree with that. But at the same time, if you're out like with your family, and then you're in the bathroom taking selfies, that shouldn't be online. There's a difference saying, okay, here's an opportunity to say, take some pictures. Who's going to be here? You don't know where you're going to be like tomorrow or the next day. So better to capture it right here and then. But yet, you're taking selfies in the bathroom. Not saying you do, but I'm just saying like there's people that take selfies in the bathroom. And it's like you can always do that. That would always be there. But yes, there's certain things that shouldn't be on the internet that are, and things that are, and what I mean. But things that are that shouldn't. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I definitely.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is, have you ever worked in retail, and do you have any funny stories?
No, actually, I have never worked in retail. I have worked a few office jobs, but actually never retail.
All right. What about, let's see, back to social media real fast. On your career, with everything that you have accomplished, what website would you think gave you the most opportunities? Would you say it's because of Facebook, I'm out there more? Is it because, Twitter or Instagram, I'm out there? For people who want to know, for an example, what is the secret? Is there like a certain website you should just focus on 24/7? And for you, what do you think about it?
I don't know if there's any one single way or website that, it's for everyone because everyone has like a different path from what I understand. There's no like, you know, one thing that everyone should do. I mean, other than, having all of their stuff together pretty
Yeah.
much. But in terms of like websites, there are various, like, in terms of like the social media apps, like I said, definitely Facebook, I would say, at least for me, has been the most beneficial. But like in terms of like actual websites, like casting websites, there's Backstage, there's Actors Access, there's casting networks, and yeah, so there are more than that even. Those are just the ones that I, use, have used too in the past. But it varies.
Yeah, I agree. Now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to pass the last 12 minutes over to you.
Sure.
Very.
Arlene Schofield.
My name is Shireen Snow.
My name is Carla A. Miles.
Diana Camuto.
This is Christine Dunford.
I'm me, Eden.
Caroline Macy. This is Walker Fannin.
Lydia Camille Dixon.
I'm a dates for them.
My name is Linda Presson, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Me, Mark Medley.
Hi everybody, this is Mark Neely.
Barry Babick.
This is Peter Bruno.
My name is Kyle Collier.
This is Julio Santiago, better known as Dynamite.
I'm Richard Epcar.
Morris Chow.
This is Kerrigan Mahan.
This is Golde.
And we both support
Keith Andrew.
My name is Ron Wasserman, and I am supporting Keith Andrew and what he is doing, and you better do the same, or I'm gonna come kick your ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 476. I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is Ms. Gold. I just want to say thank you for sticking with us, and with the last 11 minutes and counting, I'm going to ask you a couple of hard-hitting questions, and I want your honest opinion on them. The first one is, it's a hot thing in the topics today, and it's going to be history soon, so it's a hot topic in general. How do you feel about Toys R Us closing?
I think that's actually really sad because that's like my childhood. I totally remember when I was little, going to Toys R Us a lot and it being really fun, and them having like all these like huge selections of like just whatever toy you could imagine that was being produced, at that time. And I definitely got a lot of toys there and had a lot of fun times. So it's really sad. It probably has to do a lot with like Amazon and things like that becoming more prominent and like, eliminating the competition like that. So that's unfortunate.
That's true. Don't mind me. I'm just looking at my reflection. I'm just fighting with this stupid jacket. I thought it would be a nice touch to have a sports jacket, but after seeing it looks kind of like this, it's kind of like, maybe the shirt looks better. But I like every episode to be different. But yeah, I agree with you, but at the same time, I kind of disagree with you. Okay, look at it like this. I am guilty of shopping online. I'm like you, when it comes to online shopping. I am guilty of that. For a shirt, for certain pair of pants that you can't buy anywhere in the store, okay, you order it online. But at the same time, you're taking away from other people. And what I mean by that is, I work, in the coming weeks, I will be unemployed, but I currently work at Toys R Us. And it's kind of like, it's ridiculous because, one, I'll give you an example, because there's only a 5-year difference between me and you. When we were growing up, we had, here's a toy, go over there, and you can play with it, and then you have a cat fight, you had a whole cat fight thing, and then it's like, it's a toy. I like to come in, look at the item, say, it's perfect, it's plastic, but you get to go in, human interaction, and you're like, I like it, I know it's not a piece of garbage, I like to hold things. And it's kind of like at the same time, yeah, if you're in a rush or you're never home, Amazon's great, but at the same time, was that comment I just said, if you're never home and you don't have a home, you kind of don't need Amazon, because where are they going to ship it to? Right, where they go, mail it to a hotel or something? But even still, there has to be a middleman. There has to be something for the common people. For me, I like, one reason I do talk show is because I have poor people skills. And this is therapy for myself, to make myself a better person. So when I walk into a talk show, hello. Well, if you walk into a toy store or whatever store, you have the confidence of saying, I feel good about myself. If everything that it's just online based, it's kind of like there's people that become hermits. and they become anti-social. But there has to be something. And I always said to people, I said to my dad recently, there's always going to be a supermarket because there's some people who, like me, I don't drive, and I want to get food sent to me because I don't drive. Because that's good for people who can't drive; they can have food sent to you. But at the same time, it's kind of like people want to get out. They want to go see a movie. They want to have that human interaction. So there's always going to be a supermarket. There's always going to be a restaurant. There's always going to be a place to get a haircut. Unless you're sticking your head in a computer, I wouldn't advise that. But hey, yeah, never say never. I bet a Japanese company or something comes up with that. Hey, why get a haircut? Here's a new device by Sony. You can get a Sony haircut. I wouldn't do that. But there's certain things that will always stay there, and that's kind of comforting. But at the same time, you're going to limit yourself. Okay, haircuts, supermarkets, and restaurants. But what about a toy store? What about just actually, going to the park? Or what about actually, getting off your ass and doing something? It's kind of like this whole generation. It's kind of like, and when I was ringing up people, they're like too busy hands down or on the phone, or they would be like this talking. I felt like, and I did once and I didn't do it again. Woman was on the phone. Yeah, it's like, here's the item. Can you ring it up? And she's had the whole conversation on the phone. I'm like, oh, don't mind me. I can wait till you're done. You're wasting my time. I'm going to waste your time. Hang up the phone and actually interact with the cashier. Not like, oh, hey, Johnny, yeah, I'm here. I need to buy toilet paper because I have a big one going. It's kind of like, one of those. It's kind of like, if you need a toilet paper so bad, you can have it shipped to your house. And don't be rude to the person saying, oh, this is or at least explain, hey, this is an important phone call. I do apologize. But when you're actually sitting down and people do this, clearing up my little rant, it's pretty much this whole generation. You want things spontaneous. You want it at a click of a button, or you want it at your fingertips. And then you realize, okay, there's a problem, but for that generation, you don't see the problem. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And yeah, people are just on their phones and immersed in technology, like, I think too much of the time now. Like, it's kind of taken over people's lives, And yeah, people can be rude also because of that, because they're just so into whatever is on their phone instead of, the in-person interaction, even like at a store, when you're at the cashier buying things. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that myself.
Yeah, I agree. Now, was there anything you wanted to share before we wrap up our interview?
I don't know. I guess one thing is that most of my acting experience is in theater. I have a lot of theater experience, theater credits. And right now, I'm in the process of more so focusing on transitioning into film and television rather than theater. Not that I want to stop doing theater, because I still love it, but I love film and television as well, and I want to get that experience too.
No, absolutely. Now, wrapping up our talk show, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But the last two things I want to run past you real fast is I know we hinted towards this in the beginning, but this is how I wrap up the show. How can people follow you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Twitter? I know you're on Instagram, but will you probably eventually be on Twitter, or are you not? You're against Twitter?
I'm not against Twitter in general. Like, I think it's perfectly fine for other people, but I'm not into for myself. I just don't see any reason for me to have that. You know, like I already have Facebook, I have Instagram, and like I get the point of Instagram where it's like really about sharing all these pictures and everything. And for Facebook, it's like you share pictures, you share posts, you can share like a whole really, really long post, you can say whatever you want, pretty much. And there's, again, like people post opportunities in various groups, like for job opportunities and things like that. But Twitter is like, what is it, like 140 characters or something?
I think they extended that or something. I think that's 200 now.
Yeah, they changed it or something, but it's like, so I think that's interesting, and you have to be very concise when you, post stuff on Twitter. It's like, it has to be just that thing, that short thing, but I don't, like, I just don't see the need for it for myself. It doesn't fill any needs that I have. Like, I feel like I have all my social media already. It's all good already.
No, absolutely. For me, I have to have Facebook, Instagram. I can take it or leave it, but I use Instagram. Well, for me, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. There's other websites, they sound like great and everything, but then I kind of lose interest. But, the 4 websites, right, you can always find me on. I'm on everything, pretty much. You type in KeithAndrewNetWork, it's got to pop up, like a bad case of pimples. But it's always, it just want to make you laugh. But it's always going to pop up, and everything. But it doesn't mean, Pinterest. Yeah, I'm on Pinterest, but I don't use it. Tumblr, I'm there, but I don't use it. But if you want to find me, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But wrapping up, when I first approached you to be a guest in my talk show, what was your first reaction, and what made you say yes?
And again, that was through Facebook.
No, absolutely.
So, yeah, well, I don't know, I just like how you explained like what your show's about and like the message, and I thought that it was really positive, and I feel like that's just such a good message to get across to people. And also like I think this kind of counts as social media too, like YouTube, right? Yes. And I actually really love YouTube. See, I don't have my own channel on YouTube, at least not yet. But I really enjoy spending a lot of time watching other people's work on YouTube. Just like a bunch of things. You can find like anything on YouTube pretty much. There's just a whole variety of interesting things that people have out here. So yeah, I thought that it would be a very interesting thing to do.
And how do you feel now?
Yeah, well, I definitely enjoyed this interview, so thank you for asking me to do it.
No, absolutely. I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road. That being said, wrapping up our interview, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I just want to say thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you again. It was really interesting. Thanks.